back, and I'm going to speak with Herbert first for a few minutes, and then we'll go on to Travis. Herbert, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your business, the rare book business. Your father began that business, and I wondered when he started it and when you started to go in and work with him, I don't know if you went in as a child and hung out in the store or whatever in the business, did he share with you what prompted him to start that kind of a business?
Well, sure.
And what was
my father, we used to talk to me about it, and the way he started it, as a matter of fact, he got here in 1908. His first job when he got to this country was giving Latin and Greek lessons for English lessons, and he started to sell encyclopedias, and then he started to, and he was dealing with the immigrant Jewish doctors, dentists, the guys who could buy it. And then when he found out about Dumas and he found out about Dickens, he starts to tell them, you shouldn't have Goethe on your wall. This is America. You should have Dickens. And he started to buy Dickens and Shakespeare and sell it to these guys, and that's how he got in the rare book business.
Wow.
Yeah, he stayed at it for about 60 years.
And how old were you actually when did you run around there when you were a little kid and help out, or when did you get into it?
Yeah, I worked for my father when I was, let's say, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, something like that. Then I took 20 years off to run nightclubs. But then I came back to it when you start getting sore feet from standing up all night, you come back, and now I've been in it now for about 20 years.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask, what's it like to take a business that your father or somebody else, I mean, for other people, maybe someone else, has started, and it was like their dream, and you sort of, as it were, carry it on, and do like a baton, as if in a race or whatever.
Okay, I took my father's rare book business, and I found that I wasn't quite as good a rare book dealer as he was. Right? I don't like to search for books, and I don't like going through catalogs. I'll do it for you to show you I can, but I don't like it. So I sort of went into bookbinding. And my father's old clients would bring me old books of his to get old books that he sold them in 1940, 1930, fix them. So I went into bookbinding. And little by little, and now I would say the major part of the business is bookbinding. And even that changed. It went from doing rare books and fine books, which is what I thought I was going to bind, and I'm doing a lot of albums, a lot of keepsake books, guest books, a lot of family Bibles, a lot of personal. In other words, I bind. Well, it's true. You see, I have some books here,
yeah, we'll go through
and
some of them.
This book down here is a really expensive, fine. Well, it's an old medical book, and it's like a $10,000 or $20,000 book from 1550 or something, and we bound that up in a sort of arts and crafts style, sort of like a William Morris takeoff, but inside it, it's a really rare book. Okay, I mean, that book I think is from 1520 or something like that. It's a medical book.
Oh yeah,
and that thing has been like that. Now, that's one aspect and one kind of thing we do. However,
you want to show something else?
This.
You want me to? I'll do it.
Sure. What you have in your hand is Martin Scorsese's album that he made for himself and for 20 or 22 or 3 people that were in his picture. He gave one of those to Michelle Pfeiffer has one in her house. I mean, it's sort of nice. I can say, you're right. That's hand marbled end paper. And the cover on it, well, go ahead. Yeah, you see stills from The Age of Innocence.
Yeah, these are from the credits.
Right?
And then let's just
zap it open, and you'll get Daniel Day-Lewis or a dancing scene. There you go. Oh my God!
Great.
Right.
Beautiful.
Now and the cover is done in sort of Victorian style, so it looks like the album that somebody in the Age of Innocence would have had.
Yeah.
That's an album that would have been made for a well-off Victorian in let's say 1882 or 1898 or whenever the picture was.
Now, can I just show my guest? You are my guest, but I hope my audience is my guest too. How this is done? It's leather.
It's leather.
And then do you press
I want you to imagine this line as a tire track. I have a brass wheel.
And you go.
And you really shove that brass wheel. Well, you got to heat it, and you got to put the secret sauce on, so it'll stick right. And then But you got to have a lot of technique because you see how nice the corners are? It doesn't look sloppy, and you never really know where the wheel is going to end because it's, right? Okay, and that's that. Now that's in Victorian style. This, can I drop names?
Sure, why
All
not?
right.
We like to drop
All right.
names.
How about John Turturro?
Reputation's built by
All right.
association.
This
so
is
it's John.
this is John Turturro's album. He starred in a movie called Barton Fink, which is about a playwright. And Barton Fink
Another
takes
cool
place in the late 30s, early 40s.
Now, do you purchase this, or did you guys?
Yeah, no, I purchased that. I purchased that from a girl who makes it by hand. There's John. There's John. And that album was made for him, right? And that's now. This is the first one you saw was Victorian. The second one you see is Art Deco.
I was gonna say, yeah. Oh, here
and
we
now
go.
a movie star I will not name. All right.
Okay.
2 movie stars I will not name.
Okay.
On the advent of their second child, contemplated matrimony.
Okay.
All right. So I get a call from the photographer. I must see everything you can do in an album.
Okay.
Well, I have to ship a boxcar for correct. So I did this. Well, we did this. By the
now
way,
I can't open it up, right?
sure.
Oh, it's empty, or is it?
It's
okay.
empty.
Oh,
it's
okay,
empty
good.
except the pages are in it.
Okay, good. So I don't have to
These are
worry about
mechanical
exposing
pages,
anybody. Okay.
But you can open up. This shows the movie star's photographer that we can do modern art and classical gold decoration. And here you have almost a history of bookbinding decorating technique. But
I
this,
see. You've done a little bit of all the different
It's a
styles
sample.
on it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
very cool because
Now-
you have the same thing that we had on this one.
Right, right. And then
wow.
it runs off into
And then we get some deco
very
stuff.
funny. We designed the modern side and we designed the backside, but we hadn't designed the spine yet. So the bookbinders designed the spine.
Oop,